And hello, everyone. Welcome to Crossing Latitudes 2024 pre-game jam fireside chat. My name is Natasha Skult. I'm one of the organizers of the this year's jam as well as previous year, but overall someone who you will be seeing a lot when it comes to moderating the jam. So also in the Discord as well as here in Twitch. And today we have very special guests with us from Brazil, Finland, and overall all of you also audience from all across the world, because we do know there will be even jammers outside of course, like these two countries, which everyone is welcome to join because it's all about culture exchange. And with that said, I would love to kick off with very short introductions. So let's hear more about our guests. So if all of you can start, like whoever wants to start, of course, but like name, affiliation, and generally a bit about what you're working on at the moment.
I can start. Hi, everybody. Thanks for the embassy and for Natasha to having us here. It's an amazing opportunity to be. I'm in Finland today, but I'm Brazilian and I'm the director of the Brazil Games Association, that in Portuguese we call Abra Games. We are 20 years working on the Brazil game scene, like to strengthen our companies and our motivation are the development studios. So my name is Eliana, and I'm the director of Abra Games, Brazil Games.
Thank you, Eliana. Who would like to go next?
I can go next. So hi, everyone. My name is Andrea Brito. I'm also Brazilian. I work at the Embassy of Brazil in Finland in the Science and Technology section at the embassy. And we're really excited to co-host this jam with Finnish Game Jam, and we love games and really excited to be here today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Andrea.
All
Yanni,
right.
Jonathan?
Maybe I can go next there then. So I'm Jonathan. I'm also Brazilian. I have been living and working here in Finland for at least the past 6 years. And I'm originally a video game developer, but I worked mostly as a generalist game developer all my first years of career, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And I followed a bit different path, let's say, from the game technology and the game industry, that I started using the video games technology for other applications, other kind of business and other industries and such, So I grew a lot also in the XR field. And nowadays I work as a producer for the XR companies and projects.
Fantastic. And Yanni?
Hi everyone, I'm Jani Grön, and I'm the new president of Finnish Game Jam, and I'm really happy to be here, like representing Finnish Game Jam and having fun together, and maybe even participating in the jam. I was thinking like maybe making some music this time. That would be kind of nice. But yeah, glad to be here. I love game jams, been hosting some game jams and participating them. So really good to be here. I'm happy.
Yes, game jams are extremely popular in Finland overall, and of course, Finnish Game Jam is one of the big reasons for it, because the culture of game jamming has been really brewing even more within the industry, games industry in Finland, ever since establishment. And how old is now Finnish Game Jam? Is it like 10 years already or something like that?
Yes, over 10 years.
Oh my, oh, because
Yeah, yeah.
also someone who is organizing jams and working with the Finnish Game Jam for so many years, like, yeah, it is always baffling how time flies. But yeah, so Brazil, Finland, usually people ask us why we do, like, how come this started as a jam, and this is actually the third year, if I'm not mistaken, Andrea, right? Like that the jam is taking place. It was slowly starting 3 years ago, and then from last year we made this partnership to make it into an annual event. Can you tell us as well from the Brazil embassy in Helsinki side how the initiative started?
So the Finnish gaming industry is very vibrant and very interesting sector, and the embassy was always interested in strengthening the connections between the gaming industry in Brazil and the gaming industry in Finland. I think we had our first game jam before the pandemic, so we had a little bit of a hiatus there that we didn't have the game jams, but this is the third one, and we've been growing the number of participants, so that makes us very happy. There is a lot of interest from the Brazilian game developers about the Finnish gaming market and vice versa. So we think that's a very interesting initiative and very interesting partnerships that can come out from these interactions.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of like historically, even from the, let's say, early times of like or early successes of the Finnish games industry, because like how it all started, like it has always been really strong collaboration between Brazil and Finland, and quite many companies have been having partners that they collaborated with, or literally having open offices in Brazil as well, due to talent. Talking just about games industry side. So when it comes to talent and knowledge in both like tech development, also especially creative side, because the amount of creatives, of course, in Brazil is immense, and we all admire and need that talent, especially in games. So, Jonathan, do you have anything on that side? I mean, as someone who has been, I mean, I have been here working as also like from Serbia though, but 17 years in Finland. So I mean, kind of like from the local perspective. But yeah, what is your experience, especially with because you have been also living and working here in Finland and Brazil?
Yeah, so I can say a little bit about my journey there. No? That like I started as a generalist developer in itself, no? So I had like my own small business in Brazil developing these 3D solutions and other things. And I got a client here in Finland, and it grew up so much that it was easier for me to just like migrate here and like work close by, and also bring like all the pool of expertise from the developers in Brazil. And I think you were very on point there also with some of the comments. And I gotta say that from my experience all over those years, also not only working with the people from abroad, but also recruiting some of them and this kind of stuff, is that in Brazil we have so many people who also come from other industries and kind of have interest in working in games, because the gaming industry in Brazil, Eliana can tell maybe more precisely about that, but like the game industry in Brazil is still something quite new, let's say, but I worked with many professionals that came, for example, from the marketing side, and especially from the real estate side. In Brazil, the civil construction, I think, is the biggest industry nowadays. So if we consider like 5 years ago, we had like a lot of people engaging with these real-time technologies and game engines and other things, and that was the entry point to many people also to start developing games. To realize, oh, this 3D model that I can do for this construction stuff, I can actually do like a fantasy scenario, or I can become a 3D artist myself, and I have seen many professionals also growing from that point to a place where now they are like these wizards of 3D modeling or creative concept and this kind of stuff.
Or storytelling overall. I mean, the whole medium of, environmental storytelling. I'm thinking of the, just 3D model, but XR and all the magic you are doing. So there is also a lot of that. So Eliana, yeah, like from your perspective, also as working with the games industry and especially from kind of association part of with all the companies that are part of organizations. So if you can tell us more about what is in practice, how is in your view this looking like between the Finland and Brazil and the
Well, I totally believe that there is an immense space for cooperation. We have 190 million players in Brazil, not population, players, people that play video games, right? We are the 10th largest market in the world. Like considering those who spend, when you consider those who do not spend and only mobile, we are even larger. It's like the 5th largest market in the world. So if you say that Finland produces some of the best mobile games in the world, and Brazil love those games, I think they have a lot to exchange. I know so many Brazilians that have moved, like Jonathan, moved to Finland, to Helsinki or Tampere to develop games. Like they were here for more than 10, 15 years. They love the country, and they bring back that experience very, very loudly. Like they really talk about Finland in a very high and special way. So I think there's now that the embassy and the game jam, like you really have this something going on, I think that we are going to move forward. Last year, for example, I can talk for hours. You can cut me anytime. Last year, for example, um, we as an association we organized the Brazilian presence on many markets like GDC or Gamescom Germany. We have our own Gamescom now, Gamescom Latam, that we will hold in São Paulo end of June. But anyway, last year we were at Gamescom Germany in Cologne, where we were the focus country, where we were the honored country, and we decided that would be a fantastic idea to join efforts with the embassy and Business Finland and come to Finland. So we came to Finland with about 30 people. 20 of them were developers, and the other 10 were government people, like that develop public policies. So that was really, really fantastic experience for them to understand why Finland, being such a small country, has so much in place, like for the games industry. We visit accelerators programs, we visit development hubs, we talk to people. So there's an infrastructure here that I don't think there's in the ecosystem. There's something missing. Like there are excellent training courses, excellent universities. If you're not talking about a graduated person on university, but the middle course, you have this talent here, you have this training here, you have money, you have talent, you have technical people, you have the resources. So, and I think Brazil is building it all. So in fact, we are, one of the co-organizers of Gamescom Latam this year, we are bringing two people from Finland exactly to talk about that, like how to build a benchmark in terms of a development hub. That's what we are aiming to be. We have about 1,000 studios in Brazil right now. Most of them are very small. With us and within the association, we have 160. Those studios are bigger, are stronger. Most of them, I would say 90% of them, do business internationally. They all go to international events. So I think it's a fantastic hub-to-hub cooperation that we can foster here and keep grooming. I think there's a lot of talent and ideas, and I'm married
Absolutely.
to a Finnish man, so
I mean, that's same here.
I
That's how
think
things
I
happen.
think the coordination works. I have all this experience at home, so it works out.
But yeah, that's I mean, speaking of the cultural exchange, because that's also one of the main things with this jam, at least from the uh, inspiration and the mission and the plans together, as when we started brainstorming together with as we love games and Finnish Game Jam and Embassy of Brazil in Helsinki, when we were just initially even discussing like this sort of the angle towards this cultural exchange, because there has been, especially in the games industry, we see in practice that people have discovered each other even across the latitudes, but basically that already has been established from business side in the past, but also with the people getting more like as this sort of throughout the years, and more communication has been happening between not just developers but generally people, even from you know from the tourist perspective, if nothing else. And it's just fascinating to see that usually people would think that there is a lot of differences when it comes to because of cultural differences and so, but actually, I mean, this is something maybe we can slightly discuss about, because this is sort of like cultural partner, because it actually works. There haven't been any major like this, or there wasn't any clash of cultures at all. On contrary, it's like when it comes to even food and music, and so sure, Finns are like not as openly, like they're actually very social, but only when it comes to that they kind of trust. But that extrovert part of Brazil helps a lot, that the Finns can faster open up.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
know what? Game developers in general, they are more nerd people. I'm saying that as a complaint, not a negative aspect. Like I'm like that. Like, so we are not as dancing all the time like Brazil is perceived. Like we are
Yeah,
more
yeah.
quiet people. We play games.
Yeah, but for the Finnish standards, trust me. I mean, I'm introvert, but in Finland,
Yeah,
so
no,
I'm not being observed as such.
I know what you mean, but I think the sector itself, because of the personality of, not all developers are introverted, but most are. And well, just plugging in with the jam is an excellent exercise to take these
Absolutely.
people from their home, their garage, their mother's, whatever place they're hiding, and put them into action
Indeed.
and create teams and create games, right? So
Absolutely.
I think we break the ice with the jam, like whatever cultural problem. I wouldn't say a problem, but difference there is when you're building something together. You have to find a way to overcome that. And usually when there is creativity, when there is something that at the end that everybody sees a result and wow, look what we did. So it creates a spirit of being together that is fascinating. I find it.
No, absolutely is. And also for the audience, I mean, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on that as well as on our Discord. And if you haven't checked, please go to itch.io page and find Crossing Latitudes 2024. And also through there, you can also join not just Jam, but also our Discord and yeah, meet other fellow jammers and enthusiasts. Speaking of jams, I mean, let's maybe touch a bit that because we here know what the game jam is, but maybe it would be good to a little bit touch upon, as you said, like it's a wonderful place for not just like cultural exchange, but generally people getting together and getting to work. And there is a very special magic within the game jams, what happens in very short time between, let's say, strangers like that, because usually teams. So what if, Yanni, you can tell us a bit how game jams work and what one can expect from a game jam as an event.
Yes, that's a great question, and it's such a wide topic. Like, what is a game jam? That's already like whoop, big. I think it kind of reminds me of some like really good like I think Anna-Kaisa had this definition. It's like a improvisation upon a team, like sort of like jazz. You're jamming. You have this sort of line. Okay, we're gonna follow this together, but what's it gonna be? Who knows? We'll figure it out when we reach the end and on the way. And it's fun and it's fine. It doesn't have to be great. It just happens, and you have to like let go and not get too attached to one idea. Just let them flow and find a team, find your groove, make something interesting, and that's enough. And it's this one and done usually. Of course, you can continue it afterwards if you want to. And how this actually happens, like how do you make a team? Some people like to go solo. Some people have like one idea, like, hey, I had this idea for a game. Anyone want to join? Then people can flock together on that idea. Or maybe they find teams based on skills. So, hey, I can code. And then other person, hey, I can do art. Want to join? Sure, let's do it. And then they together start from a clean slate, like what's the theme, what kind of ideas does it bring, maybe it gives this kind of mood, maybe some kind of joke came to my head of this theme, oh yeah, that's a great idea, and then you follow this kind of line and you see where it goes, like is there a game in this, or maybe there's one core like mechanical idea, okay, let's try to make this into a game and then build a game on top of it. And it depends a lot on your personality. Like if you're a technical person, programmer, you might be really like logical. Okay, I have this mechanic, I want this rule to work like this, and then you build a game. Or maybe you're an artist, I think this kind of character would be really cool, and then you build a game on top of that. Or hey, this kind of music came to my head, maybe this could work in this theme. So it depends a lot on the people who join up. And I think this process is quite organic. And I guess my biggest tip would be to just like let go of your like fears and attachments and preconceptions on what a jam should be, and just roll with it, go with the flow, and something beautiful might happen, or it
Yeah,
might not, but that's fine.
that yeah, there are no expect. So that's the thing. For one really great thing is that jams are not game jams are not competitions. So again, for those who might not have been jamming before, here is also a bit of kind of how this jam in particular will be structured. So we will have 4 days to. So we're starting tomorrow, and we are having 4 days, especially to make sure with the whole time differences, because we want to encourage that teams are mixed between Finns or whoever else joins, of course, and Brazil members, and then they start brainstorming on the theme. Now we will have and we will announce the topic or the theme of the jam at the opening ceremony. So that's tomorrow. same time as this fireside chat is taking place. So tomorrow we will announce that, and that theme will be more of an inspiration. Like we encourage people to make games based on that theme, but it's not limitation. If it's just like, it can serve as an inspiration, and we will have some other kind of diversifiers, just like so that people don't get stuck necessarily. But of course, whatever your ideas, as Yanni just said, like comes in mind, that it's from some even joke at some turn, take it, go with it, jam with it. So there is no, also really important thing, there is absolutely no need any previous experience in jamming whatsoever. The teams will be formed, so the groups will be formed at the spot, so everything will be online, everything inclusive, and nobody's going to be left behind. That's what we are making sure as organizers. So you will find your people, but also if someone wants to jam solo, we are not going to stop them. So basically you can jam solo, but we encourage you to work with other people and generally just have fun, because that is always more fun, to work with fellow nerds and come up with something completely new as you go. So with the limited time, also there is no time to overthink things. Just go with it, like let it go, as Yanni said. Just something beautiful might come, but also something not so special, but at the end it is special because you made it in 4 days. So definitely it will be special. And quite often game jams are also being used to even experiment with new tools. So let's say if you are already a developer and you haven't tried some tools, let's say from software side, or you wanted to try some different style, or you wanted to experiment, again, in any discipline, art, music, coding, animation, you name it, design itself, I mean, game design, this is amazing opportunity to just use it as a place where you can try things out, and no pressure of showing results person, because there will be results anyway, so you will like there will be praise, but there is no pressure, as it's not competition. So, but one thing that we will be doing this year, which I want to also highlight, We Love Games and Finnish Game Jam will be giving also certificates for the participants. So this is also something that would be quite nice for the jammers to receive as a well, certification that they did, and there will be a description of how that works. And the second thing, as the part of We Love Games conference in autumn, on the 3rd and 4th of October, which is part of the Finnish Games Week that we have in Finland, inaugurated this year. So we are quite excited about Finnish Games Week. There will be a showroom where the games that are being made in this jam, along with the jammers, will be present at the official showroom or kind of booth spaces. And for both online, because conference is hybrid, so there is no, like, everyone will be present also with their games, and besides in person, but also online. And there will be additional interviews as a part of official conference program and everything else. So we will even extra highlight the results of this jam. And basically, if teams want to even continue working on the game until the conference, that's perfectly fine, but that's not something that is required, because we want to make sure that, but if people get inspired, because quite many games become commercial products from the jams. I can tell you that from the industry side. Like quite many of our own games in my team are actually results of the game jam games. So who knows? But this will be two really wonderful opportunities for the jammers, that they can really have concrete benefit of being part of the jam. So sorry for the rant about this kind of like whole jamming part, but I thought it's important to introduce, especially for those who might be listening and haven't, and still consider like, maybe, you know, maybe I can't do it. No, you can. There is absolutely no expectation and no need for previous experience. There is always going to be, you can just be an idea person. That's perfectly enough. So that's how the jams work. And most importantly, have fun. Isn't that right, Annie? That's always what we say.
Yes. Yes, it is the most important part. And that reminds me, well, this isn't a physical jam, but that kind of reminds me of the old thing that, because there's kind of roles you can take, like coder, artist, whatever. There was the role coffee. And that means, like, even if you know nothing, if you can bring coffee to the table, I want.
Yes, you rock. Yes, yes. But yeah, it's like goodies and coffee, like that's of course always welcome. And but yeah, that's kind of the plan for the next 4 days. And then the submission process, we will see that it can be open longer a bit, another 24 hours in case of technical issues with uploading the games. And so again, there is not go we are fully there to support everyone. So nothing to stress about that, and nobody will be left behind. That's the most important. Jonathan, have you been jamming?
Yes, many times.
And what is your any tips from your side as a dev and a jammer?
Yeah, well, I gotta say I have very fond memories of all the game jams that I participated. I think they all were very nice experience, and I think I don't want to repeat everything that you said there, but I think it really adds a lot to the knowledge and the learning that you can have also as a developer. Especially for the people who are beginning. Like imagine that every game jam is like equivalent of 2 years of work there, because you will be experimenting so much and trying to get things working, also getting to know people, like understand what is the focus of the project and this kind of stuff, So it has always been quite fun. From my side in specific, like I'm a bit biased because I always have been kind of like this manager type of person, So even though I have been developing also in some jams, usually I would also try to be the person kind of connecting the parts there, So not necessarily being the hands-on programmer or only doing like the 3D, like I would be more of this generalist type of guy. But that taught me also like a very important lesson. It made me, for example, want to become a producer later on because of the experiences I had there, because I saw that, look, I have this team here of 9 people who don't know each other. Everybody has like a different idea of what they want to do, but how can I find a common ground there for them and make something, uh, how to say, make a more concrete idea, but that everybody also has fun developing that and can enjoy the process, So that for me has been very special, and I do keep all of the all of the files and the builds and other things from the previous game jams, because many times I kind of come back to them, because like when you have the opportunity to do like this cool prototype of like some crazy idea that appeared there, you never know when can you use that again. Like it can lead not necessarily only like to a commercial game per se, but it can later be how can I say, like put together, like these different ideas can be put together to create like an even bigger
Oh,
experience or like
absolutely.
a
Even
different
as a
product.
feature, yeah, or as a feature, or as a again having like artists have sketchbooks and things like in a sense that you are
Hmm.
kind of getting
Hmm.
back to and so forth. So yeah, I mean that's the whole point of having this sort of, especially with the events like these where there's no pressure and everything happens very spontaneously. Um, Really remarkable innovations actually take place because that's why there's no like it just you're suddenly having this freedom that things can come out from you, even that maybe it were there in the back of your head, but now hey, it's good to experiment with that, and especially educational side, like lots of people use jams also to, as I mentioned, learn things, but also as educational tool overall. And there has been, I mean, Eliana already said about the sort of like the the schools and the, like there are of course dedicated programs well across the world, not just in both countries about the game development, but also there the sort of like uh, maybe Elena, you can tell us more. Kind of what are the trends and what is happening from the kind of games industry in Brazil and also here in Finland, because like you have both views quite openly there. So any thoughts on that, like to share with us, or Andrea, of course, from the embassy side? Like how are the trends? How are things, and how much matching there is?
I think there is, as I mentioned, Andrea also knows, and Jonathan also knows, there are many Brazilians in Finland in the industry, the game industry. So I think there are things that we are doing together that we don't even know or realize that it's a kind of a co-production Brazil-Finland in a very informal way. And on a more formal way, as I mentioned, we started last year with this mission, coming to Finland to find really avenues or paths where we can build on top. But people know each other. Although it's a big sector, the industry is small. Like everybody knows each other. Like you always know who is who. So I think the best that we have in common is that we know each other working. Like there are Brazilians at Supercell, at Rovio. They have been there for like 10, 15 years, 17 years, and they move to other jobs, or they come back to Brazil and they come back to Finland. So I think there is something that is already built that facilitates everything, that both sides are happy with what they built together. But it's, as I mentioned, we are mixed in the game. Like we are not like Brazilians are here and Finnish are there. It's all together.
And with the trends, I'm just wondering because like Finland is known to like for the all the successes in mobile markets when it comes to the products, but of course we have really big successes in PC and console, even for the small country, obviously. But what is Brazil also like very much kind of like following the, let's say, mobile market trends, or how is it working with the other platforms? Like just one, like if
Well, the development is more for PCs in Brazil.
Mhm.
The consumers are more mobile because of the cost of the hardware, of course. Brazil doesn't have a, well, not everybody has the opportunity to have a real nice hardware console at home. So mobile is where people really get together to play. But the developers, well, the studios develop for several, for all the platforms. But as we hear, there's a lot going on PC, and there is a niche, a very good niche for immersive realities that we have quite a few. Some studios that are doing a very, very good job, winning prizes and everything.
That's great to hear. Yes, yes. Jonathan, do
And
you want to add
art.
something there? Because I feel this is your area with the XR and things, I would assume.
Well, hard to say if I have that much to say about it. I think Eliana was quite on point, and I do believe that the XR is like how to how can I how can I say like this emergence market in Brazil, because for example, hardware and everything is still like kind of uh, a challenge, let's say, both for developers and for the consumers, but the people who know how to develop those things, they are very capable and very multidisciplinary, So I can say for myself, like I have worked with dozens or if not hundreds of different people over those years in Brazil that knew like how to code for a VR headset, even though like they never had a VR headset, So it's very amazing that people have like this knowledge pool and also this, how to say, like this wheel of learning and developing themselves in the industry, even though it's a different type of reality there when it comes to the development structure.
Yes, and education, of course, is big part. But Andrea, about this kind of like programs between, like especially from the governmental level, like that we have just heard what Eliana said about with the kind of visiting groups and so on, like this sort of specific, especially for business development, different kind of programs. But anything you can share with us, maybe about like I know as someone who is also working at university with the exchange programs, and so there are many opportunities. But what is happening? Like what else is there? Especially if someone wants to look more into what kind of things are happening on the governmental level, in a sense that if you can, like, of course, if what one can share, of course.
So it's very interesting because, especially on the part of the Finnish government, there is a very strong effort and interest in attracting Brazilian talent, especially for technology companies and students as well. There have been already some very interesting and very successful cases of collaboration, for example, in the development of 6G networks in the University of Oulu. There's a partnership between Brazil-Inatel and the University of Oulu. I think, if I remember the number correctly, about a third of the PhD candidates in the University of Oulu are from Brazil. And Business Finland has an office in São Paulo, and they do a lot of promotion of Finland as a destination, both for studying and living and working. So there is a strong interest in attracting Brazilian talent to Finland. On the part of the Brazilian government, we are always interested in cooperation with Finland because the cooperation with Finland has been in a more equal standpoint. Like, we feel that Brazil is more of a partner that has collaborates fully and has equal standing. So that's very interesting to us in that sense. But yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity for people who are interested in the exchange, both sides. Brazil is also developing a lot of technology in specific centers. There's been increased investment. So we think there is also opportunities for Finnish people that want to go to Brazil and develop their talents there, open companies there, everything.
Oh yes, absolutely. And as a, like there has been in like historically known that there are lots of companies from Finland who open the offices in Brazil, and actually other way around, but kind of like just generally making this bridge, especially because of the, but like as industry is growing everywhere globally naturally, but it's just like as in it was in Finland growing rapidly in certain years, it was really you can see that kind of peak, and of course the talent from Brazil that was necessary for successes in business overall. Like that was really the case. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, please do. I'm keeping an eye on all. We are going to slowly start towards go towards kind of closing because I don't want to take too much time from our guests. Although you will be seeing Eliana on Friday and Jonathan on Saturday, and we will be tomorrow, of course, having the opening words and the reveal of the theme and the rest of the jamming kind of practicalities and announcements in the tomorrow session. But as a kind of like slowly, I said, wrapping up, any, let's say, not just tips, but kind of like what would you wish for jammers to maybe think about during this jam, or kind of like what kind of thing what message would you give to the jammers, especially for those maybe who haven't jammed before and have no idea what to kind of like expect from this cultural exchange? Anything that you wish to share with the jammers, but also with the audience overall. Yanni,
I
maybe
think
you.
as
You can start.
Yanni mentioned, yeah, Yanni mentioned, it's all about the journey of the jam. Don't go with too many expectations. Go really to give yourself this moment to develop with other people something that you have no idea what will be. So have fun, enjoy the ride.
Yes, exactly. And I would say like game jams are like the perfect scaling event. So no matter who you are, no matter how good you are, if you're beginning, you're a hobbyist, professional, some sort of wizard, doesn't matter. There's always like if you put your good faith effort, you put your all into the game, into the event, you're gonna get something out of it. The more you give, the more you will get. And no matter who you are, if you have a good idea, good feeling, good team, good vibes, and then good things will happen and you will get something out of it. Experience, skills, friends, games, portfolio, experience, you name it. It's going
But
to be good.
especially lots of friendships actually come from the game jams, because when
Yes.
people go through this journey together, it's completely different kind of bonding experience for all the jammers together. Because one thing to also, as my message basically is also to be that throughout the jam, our team will be fully supporting every single one of you, and also there will be mentors and so whatever, even issues, things there might be, technical, art, whatever else, we will have people from the game industry who will be supporting you throughout the jam in all sorts of disciplines. So nothing to worry about. You're not alone. So just ask for help, and there will be dedicated channels in Discord for that. But again, all of these practicalities we'll go through tomorrow. But yeah, mostly join and yeah, meet new people, because that's the most fun part. Completely kind of new perspectives and things. Jonathan or Andrea, any thoughts?
Yeah, so since I don't know much about the technical part of creating games, and I know people are going to learn a lot about that, but maybe also try to enjoy I think what's really interesting about this jam is the fact that it's a multicultural jam. So Natasha was just talking that we have people from all over the world. So I think it's a great opportunity to get to know different people, to experience different cultures, and have a lot of fun.
Yes, we actually are going to have some people also from African continents and other places joining, which is really exciting because it is a culture, and whoever is curious to, again, like everyone is welcome. So no issues there. But yeah, Jonathan, as a jammer and dev, any
Uh-huh.
other thoughts?
Yeah, well, I guess everything has been well said there. Like have fun most of all, and I think maybe one advice I have, like for people who are already kind of used to developing or like it's not starting right now. Like don't be afraid also to experiment there. Like not only experiment different solutions, but also experiment yourself. Like put yourself into maybe a different role next time. Or try to develop something that you're not so used to, because who knows? You can also find things that not only might help you more into what you really want to do. Like if I am a 3D artist and I know how to program, maybe I can create new tools for my 3D program and this kind of stuff. But maybe you can also find like a different passion inside the game development industry. Like I can speak for myself. Like I started as a 3D artist, then at some point I was really into programming and everything. But then when I discovered also this more producer type of role, then I found myself. And all of this came exactly throughout this experimentation. I think the game design is a lot also like medicine, like you can study and know the basics, but you will only know what you will become when you start practicing the stuff. That like, oh, nobody goes. I mean, I can say nobody, but like I never knew a person who went, oh, I want to study medicine because I want to be a dermatologist or like something very niche. Like, many times people kind of change also these kind of roles, and the game
Yeah,
jam is the
absolutely.
perfect space to explore this.
And you have really hit that spot for the professional developers. I mean, I can tell you for our team, like from just my company, which we are big jammers. Our team, like members, are jamming well, almost all the jams they are when it comes to big annual jams, and they will be jamming, of course, Crossing Latitudes. But one thing is that what's very often is that people do shift that. So programmers will do something completely else because this is what we do for day job. So it's like if you want to switch this sort of like I was planning actually to try, I've never done any audio and music, so I might be trying that, and it's gonna be most likely horrendous, but I don't care. I'm gonna go with it. So I'm gonna experiment with that. And yeah, let's see what happens. But yeah, I've never done audio, so that's gonna be a challenge, and challenge accepted. Oh yeah.
Yes, just say that it's experimental jazz.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's the jam right there. I mean we all, as you said, like exactly, just like keep jamming. So yeah, uh, once again, thank you so much for joining us today. And for those who also are maybe watching this on Twitch later, this is recorded as well. So we will be sharing later in Discord as well the link to this interviews as well as the others that are coming and the other talks and content. So keep an eye on Discord as well as, but all will be here on Twitch throughout the jam. And yeah, thank you, Yanni, Andrea. I'm just going with the kind of like my how you are placed, Jonathan and Eliana. It's a huge pleasure, and we are so excited to kick off the jam tomorrow. So yeah, very shortly coming already. Oh, thank you very much, and yeah, see you
Thank
guys at
you.
the jam. Cheers.
Thank you and see ya.
Thank you.
Have
Bye-bye.
fun there. Bye.
Bye bye. Have fun.